Well guys, had a late day today. Got back to the shop. I had a flat on the way to work this morning. So I tried to air it up with my little pump. That didn't work. So luckily I had a donut. Look at this. Yeah. That thing. No wonder it wasn't airing up. All the way around. Oh, and it's got a little ding in it too. But the wheel still looks pretty good. No major rash. There's a little bit of scuffs right there. But luckily I had a donut, so I'm swapping it out. But I got 2 brand new tires paid for. I'm getting them in the morning. Put them on both the back wheels, so all 4 will have like brand new tires. And then this weekend, top swap, supercharger swap incoming. So I got the head gaskets, I got everything I need to get that done. So tomorrow, first thing in the morning, that's what I'm doing. So keep watching. Alright y'all, it's the next day. So I posted my wheels for sale. I got someone coming to buy them. And I went and picked up the 2 new tires this morning. I got these. They're called Venom Power. Never heard of them, but they're sticky. They have pretty good grip. They look good. And they're better than what was on it. So I put both the new ones on the front and moved the other ones to the back. Sits pretty good though. I'm happy with it. Need to get a new tail light. That one's cracked. But I'm happy with it. I like them. For like 250 bucks for a set of 420s with brand new tires. Can't complain. And then, so also my plan today is to start doing a top swap on this. So I think I'm going to go park this back at the house, at the apartment. I'm going to take the red Grand Prix over to my storage. I'm going to get the gasket kit and the supercharger and the intake and the heads and the ARP head studs. I'm going to go get all the parts that I need so I can top swap this thing. And then whenever I'll get back with you guys whenever I'm over at my storage, actually getting the parts and loading everything up. But that is the plan for today, is to top swap the 06 to go with the new wheels. So I like it. So keep watching, I'll keep you guys updated. Alright guys, well, I made it over to my storage. Got all my tools out of the car. Ride height sits a lot better in the rear now. The new tires ride way better than what it was before. But I'm about to grab this supercharger and this intake and the heads and all these parts. And I'll keep you guys updated whenever I get everything loaded up. Alright y'all, working on the Black Grand Prix. I got the intake off. Got the heads, fuel rail, supercharger, intake. Everything's ready to go in. Got everything else in the back seat. Just wanted to let y'all get the first looks of pulling this apart. But I'll keep you guys updated as I go along. Alright you guys, so I've got the intake and fuel rail and getting the exhaust off right now so I can get this front head off. And then I gotta pull the alternator bracket off so I can get the rear valve cover off and get the rear head off. But it's coming along. It's getting there. The inside doesn't look too bad. I know my camera quality is shit. The balancer is pretty clean. It's pretty clean up here in the top, so I'm happy with it. It's got 139,000 miles on it, 138 or 139,000 miles on it. But it's looking pretty clean. There was some gunk. This was completely clogged. I cleaned it out. You see some of the gunk right there. But it's alright. It looks like that one is too. So, but I'm not using these heads. I'm using those. So, just wanted to give you guys a little update on it. But I'm going to keep working on it and I'll give you another update as I go. Alright, so I got the first head off. I'm working on getting the rear. Everything. Alright, so I've got off the alternator bracket with the coolant elbows. Got off the rear valve cover. I've got to get the rear manifold disconnected so I can get the head off. I can get to the head bolts. I've got to take this bracket off. I'm going to take this bracket off. And then I'll be able to get all the head bolts out after I get the exhaust off. And then I'm ready to get all this gunk cleaned up and wire wheel the shit out of it, brake clean everything, get it all nice and cleaned up, drain the oil. I'm gonna drop the pan, like everything's getting redone. I'm gonna clean it all out real good, make sure there ain't no gunk in here, and then it'll start going back together. But it's starting to get dark, so sun's going down, it's gonna be dark soon, so I might have to continue this in the morning, but I'm gonna work until it's dark, and hopefully this light will kick on. I'll have enough light, and then I also have my handy dandy flashlight, so hopefully that'll help me out some. But I'm gonna keep working and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright guys, so I'm literally sitting in the engine bay working, trying to get this rear exhaust manifold off. It's being a pain in the ass, but I gotta get it off so I can get to the head bolts down underneath. So but yeah, this is what it takes. It's a pain in the ass, but I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, so finally, like 3 hours later, I got the rear head off. Still trying to get the rear exhaust manifold off. I got the nuts loose, so it's loose, but it just keeps moving around, so it's a pain in the ass. But as soon as I get this off, I start getting this cleaned up, start getting the new gaskets on, drain the oil, get all this coolant out of the cylinders, I have to spin it over, and yeah, it should be pretty good. So I'll let you know, keep you guys updated whenever I get there. Alright guys, well I got one stud out, but I couldn't get the other stud, so I'm going to use the camera as a light. I'm going to sawzall this other stud out. If I even can. Just like that, rear manifold is out. Alright. Sweet. Alright. Need to unplug this. It's for the knock sensor. Oh, wait. I'll pull this lock. There we go. Then squeeze. There we go. And that goes back to the O2 sensor. And that is the oil. Sorry guys. Okay. So that's most of the harness. I still got the transmission speed sensor right here. And then the O2 sensor back there, farther back down the exhaust. And now I'm ready to start getting this all cleaned up. Clean up all this old head gasket material. I'm gonna wire wheel all this. Get it all nice and cleaned up. And then I'm gonna start getting the head studs in, the ARP studs. First I need to turn this over a couple times and get all this nasty gunk and antifreeze and shit out of the cylinders. And wire wheel all this and brake clean it, drain the oil. But I will keep you guys updated as I go. As you can see, it's dark now, so but I'm still out here working. I'm gonna try to get as much done as I can tonight, so I will keep you guys updated before I call it a night. Alright you guys, so I got everything all wire wheeled, all cleaned up. I just sprayed it out with brake cleaner and wiped it out. I got the rear exhaust manifold off, finally. I still gotta get the rest of the wire harness off and pull off the crank pulley and all that, but it's getting there. It's definitely coming along, so I will keep you guys updated as I go. I'm gonna go ahead and slap these head studs in with some thread sealant and get these ARP studs in so I can get the new gaskets on and get the heads on, and then go from there. And I will keep you guys updated as I go. Alright, I got all 16 of the head studs in. I got everything cleaned up. I got the copper spray right here for the head gaskets. So I'm about to grab this front gasket, go ahead and spray it, and get it stuck on here. And then get this front valve cover off, get that coil pack bracket off, that front head, so I can get it slapped on here and get the nuts and the washers and get some oil so I can get all these torqued down and start getting this put back together, at least the heads. I still gotta pull the crank pulley off tomorrow and the timing cover and swap the cam out, which is cool. It'll get there. So look, here's my timing cover, the brand new water pump, brand new front seal, new crank sensor, new oil filter, and then here's all the gaskets. There's the head gaskets, diamond power, my intake manifold gaskets, valve cover gaskets, exhaust gaskets, everything's in here. Metal coolant elbows. And there's both the heads. New spark plugs and wires. There's the supercharger and intake. The oil pan's in the box. And then in here's my supercharged crank pulley. Here's my timing set. Here's a cam. This is the cam plate and screws. There's the coils. There's a piece that goes around the starter. I think that's it for this box. And then this box is the wire harness and a couple other belts and the little DIC display for the boost gauge is in there. And then this one is the idler pulleys and stuff for the supercharger and the alternator bracket with the alternator. And just there's a couple O2 sensors. And then this is the Speed Daddy eBay headers and catless downpipe. Well, there's the computer. 07 supercharged. Man, it's coming together. It's getting there. I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Alright, you guys, so I got the first gasket all copper sprayed and got it set in here. I'm about to pull this head apart, get this bracket off, and get this valve cover off so I can start getting this bolted down, and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, so I've got front head on and I'm torquing it down. I already did the first run. I did 30 foot-pounds. I started here, went to here, then here, then outside, outside. So do 30, 60, 90. At least that's how I did the red Grand Prix engine, and it's holding up fine. So I'm gonna do the second round, and I'll let you know whenever I get done. Alright, y'all, well, we got one head on, torqued down, and I don't have the push rods in yet because I still got to swap the cam tomorrow, so I just put the valve cover on. But I think I'm about to pick all my stuff up and call it a night. I got all that to pick up, all these tools, the supercharger, the other head, the jack, the gaskets. Like, there's just so much crap to pick up right now, so I'm gonna call it a night, get all this stuff picked up, and pick it back up in the morning. And I'll let y'all know when it's morning. Well, finally got everything picked up. Everything's up here on the porch. There's exhaust up there, lines there, intake, motor mounts, heads. All the tools are in the cars. Got to charge batteries. I'm gonna get back to it in the morning, and hopefully I'll have this thing done tomorrow. So I'll get back to you guys in the morning. Alright, you guys, it's the next day. I'm about to go grab this other head and gasket and get all this stuff unloaded and get this rear head on and get it torqued down. And I gotta pull this timing cover, gotta jack the front up, get the wheel off, pull the crank pulley, pull the timing cover, get all that swapped around, get the exhaust off. But yeah, it's getting there, it's coming, so I'll keep you guys updated, let you know as I go. Alright, you guys, so I forgot to take the crank pulley bolt out or loosen it before I took everything apart. Now I can't turn the key and start it, so I'm having to jump the starter and keep a breaker bar in a socket on the crank pulley. Oh, I think I got it that time. Oh yeah, sweet. Loose now. So, little tips and tricks. Oh, alright. I'll get back to you guys, keep you updated when I get this off. Alright guys, so I've got both heads on and torqued down. I've got the crank pulley swapped out, the crank position sensor swapped out, the cam position sensor swapped out. So everything's torqued down. I'm about to get the push rods in and get the rockers on. They're over there. And then I think I'm just going to go ahead and use the OE coils I painted instead of the mismatched MSDs. But that's okay. But I'm going to keep getting this all put back together, get the push rods in, get the rockers on, get everything torqued down, and then I can put my lower intake manifold gaskets on and get the lower intake on. I still got to get this old harness off and get the new one ran and get the exhaust off, so I still got quite a bit to go, but it's coming along. I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Alright, so now I got the rockers on, they're all torqued down, 20 foot-pounds. I'm just spinning it over using the starter. Pumping oil. Hey, I'm happy with it. Got oil coming out of the lifters, that's good. Alright, I'm stoked. Alright, I'm gonna start getting this lower intake manifold gaskets on and get this lower intake manifold on, start getting this thing together. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, so I got my new gaskets on. I'm just gonna use some RTV high temp. Just gonna go in each one of these corners, and then I like to put a bead across anyways. So I'm gonna get that done and come back to you guys. Alright guys, so I've got the lower intake manifold is on, torqued down. I just put the gasket on. Now I'm about to set the blower on. So I still got to get the rear valve covers on, both valve covers on. I still got to get all the exhaust on. I got the headers with the catless downpipe, so I've got to get under there and either cut it, or I just got to get those two bolts off that flange that bolt the catalytic converter to the resonator, and then these headers with the catless downpipe will bolt right up with the V-band and some U-bolts. So, but I'm about to get this supercharger set on here and get these rear valve covers on, start getting this exhaust off, and try to start getting this finished up. So, but I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, you guys, well, I made a lot of progress here in the last hour. So I've got the alternator bracket on with both of the new coolant elbows. And I also put RTV on both sides just to be 100% sure that there's no leaks. I've got my bracket. Still gotta tighten all three of those bolts down all the way for that idler pulley. But it is getting there. Got the supercharger on, torque down, fuel rail on, torque down. I mean, it looks like a fucking car again when you pop the hood. So I still gotta get these headers on, but it is coming together very nicely. So I will keep you guys updated as I keep going along. So I've got the front header on, it's tight. I went ahead and put this dog bone on just to kind of hold the engine forward some so I can get to the back here. And I've almost got this idler bracket bolted down. It's just getting, it's like these bolts are a lot longer than this one I pulled out. Yeah, here's that one I pulled out. And all the other ones are like this long. So it's being kind of a pain in the ass to tighten them because they're already pretty snug and there's still a little bit of space left between them. But no, I'll figure that out. But I gotta get that tight, and then the pulley for it's over there. I get the pulley on, and then I got the coil pack bracket with the supercharger belt tensioner right there. So it'll go on right here after I get that tight. Then I've got the alternator bracket on, coolant elbows are on, crank pulleys on, new crank bolts in, and then I've got the crossover pipe. So I'm gonna have to get the rear header on and just get the bolts in, which I gotta get the factory down pipe and cat off before I can get the other exhaust header on, the rear one. But then once I get that kind of on, I gotta kind of just slide the crossover pipe between the two and kind of do it all in one piece and then tighten it all down. So I'm getting there. I'll keep you guys updated as I go along. But man, it's starting to look like a full engine bay again. I'm happy with it. It's looking good. But I'll keep you guys updated as I make more progress. Alright guys, well, I've made a lot of progress over the last couple hours. I had to loosen the header back up. I'm trying to get the crossover pipe and the rear header in. I got everything else back on, got both belts on. Got everything over here is all nice and tight. Everything up top's done. I've got the factory catalytic converter and exhaust is out back to the resonator flange. So now it's just getting this header, this crossover pipe all together, bolted in all at once. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. It's really easy when I did that one because it was on an engine stand out of the car. But I'm going to keep messing with it and try to get these in here. Hopefully everything lines up good and it goes together pretty smoothly. I still got to get the wires off the starter so I can get this factory harness out. I have the supercharged L32 harness in the box. But other than that, everything else is together. I'm going to swap out these coils for those over there. But everything else is together and looking good, so I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Okay guys, so I've made quite a bit of progress. I had to backtrack quite a bit on this rear manifold. In order to get this on, I had to remove the alternator bracket and the rear valve cover and the rockers, and had to have my buddy pull the motor, rock the motor forward as far as he could get it to barely get clearance. And I had to get under the car, and I had to twist the damn, I forget it. That thing, I had to move it because it was hitting the sway bar right there, so I had to twist it to get it to go over the sway bar. I finally got it to go down in there. So I got everything put back together, and then started swapping the harness, and then the alternator plug was different, so I had to cut it off and splice it on, tape it up, which is no problem. I've got the map sensor all hooked up and got the fuel line on, all the injectors are plugged in. I got the vacuum line ran. I got my disc going over here to the fuse box. I got all the spark plug wires on. I don't have the rear ones plugged in yet. So another issue I ran into was the crossover pipe. So you can see down there where the rear header comes, and then also right here on the rear manifold where the EGR valve goes, it spaces out. So I'm going to have to cut out this piece of gasket and put it in between to kind of sandwich it. That's what I had to do on the red Grand Prix to keep it from leaking right there. But so these headers, they sent me this, and on the red Grand Prix is different. So on the red Grand Prix, this piece is flared on both ends. This side, on this one, this side is flared and has slots in it to help it move. I added a fourth one because it only had 3. This side is supposed to be flared, and just like this one, but it's not. This is the exact same size as both headers, 2 1/4. So I'm gonna have to cut a couple inches off of this and go down and buy an adapter to go from 2 1/4 to 2 1/4, and some more clamps so I can get this to go together properly. But I got this piece, it fits on there. It's not really at the right angle. I don't know, I'm gonna figure it out. But it's not gonna be driving to work tomorrow, that's for sure. I still gotta finish hooking up all the harness to everything. But it's getting pretty close. Other than this crossover pipe. Besides the crossover pipe, it's really close. And I could probably start it like that, but I don't know if I really want to do that. But I'll keep you guys updated. I still got a few hours left before it gets dark. It's only like 3:30 or something like that. Maybe 4. So, but I'll keep you guys updated and let you know what I get accomplished today. Alright, well, I've made quite a bit of progress. Like, pretty much everything is together. The rear manifold is tight. The only thing I don't have on is this crossover. But everything else pretty much is hooked up. I still gotta plug in the transmission sensor and the rear knock sensor and all these plugs right down here. But everything up here on the top end is all plugged in. Everything on the front end is plugged in, except for the AC compressor because it's broke, and the wheel bearings. But everything else is plugged in, and the mass airflow is not because intake's not hooked up yet. And then underneath, it's just open header right now. Open down pipe. And it's chopped over here. So I'm gonna have to get those bolts out. They were kind of rusted. I couldn't get them to budge, so I just chopped it off. But once I get that flange off, then I'll be able to get the rest of this hooked up and bolted up. And then this part will at least be hooked up, and then it'll just be the crossover. But it's just about to the point where it's ready to be fired up. Let's see if it runs. And I gotta get that rear knock sensor and these other couple sensors plugged in first. Get the rear O2 plugged in, which isn't even hooked up. I've got both the O2 sensors on top of the car. But it is definitely coming together. So I will keep you guys updated before I do this first startup. It's going to be loud because no crossover, and I'm going to definitely have to keep an eye on it, but overall I made a lot of progress. I'm really happy with the progress I made this weekend. Hopefully tomorrow after work I can get this done, get an adapter, cut the crossover pipe off shorter so I can get the adapter to slide on down there, slide onto the crossover, and then get the slide over on top of this and just bolt them all down. But I don't know, I'll figure it out and I'll keep you guys updated as I go. Alright you guys, so I'm about to do this first startup attempt. Let me make sure I don't have any fuel leaks. Thing seems good. Alright. It's gonna be loud, but let's try it. Nope. Let's try this again. Something is not happy. Something's not right. Fuck. Alright, well, I don't know. The only things that aren't plugged in is this wheel sensor over here on the driver's side and the O2 sensors. Everything else is plugged in and connected, the grounds, the spark plug wires, like everything. Computers over here. It's plugged in. I had the battery disconnected when I unplugged everything and plugged everything back in. Fuel line's on, there's no leaks, everything's tight. I'm just not understanding what is going on. I mean, besides this crossover pipe not being here, but I don't think that would make it not start. But I don't know. When I hear the fuel pump kick on, when I turn the key, so I know it's got fuel. Yeah, it's got fuel. The battery's dead. Alright, well, I guess that's it for tonight. I'm going to pick all my tools up and get everything loaded up and just call it quits for tonight. I'm going to have to drive the 07 Prix tomorrow to work. And hopefully after work I can get something figured out on this thing, because yeah, I just spent like $300 something in wheels and tires for this thing, and I was really enjoying driving it. It was actually driving good for once in like the last 6 months, so I will keep you guys updated. Alright y'all, well, I got all my stuff picked up. I still haven't got the crossover pipe on. I'm gonna have to go get an adapter. And haven't got the O2 sensors on, because down on the rear manifold where the O2 sensor goes in, there's not even enough space between the manifold and the car to even fit an O2 sensor. So it's just got little plugs in it. And the car is not starting still. So I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the car not starting. It should have spark and everything. Like, I mean, it ran perfectly fine before. But I don't know, we'll see. But it looks good. And I've still got to finish the downpipe and get that flange off so I can connect the two. But other than that, it's coming along. So I'll pick up on it tomorrow after I get off of work and see if I can get anything done on it. I have to go buy AutoZone or something and get an adapter for the crossover pipe down there. So I've got it in the regular Prix. But at least it looks like a car again. So I'll keep you guys updated tomorrow after work. Alright guys, well, I got all my stuff picked up. I was just about to call it quits, and I seen that the ignition control module was not tight. I forgot I swapped out the coil packs and the ignition control module, and I never tightened the ignition control module back down. So I'm tightening it back down real quick, and I'm going to try to get another first start. Alright. I'll try this one more time. I hope the battery's even charged enough. But let's see if it'll go. God damn it. It's dead. Jumper cable is coming back out. I'm pretty sure that was the issue. Alright, I'll come back. Alright guys, I'm back. ignition control module wasn't screwed in. Hell yeah, it runs, baby. Alright, well that's my update for tonight, guys. I'll get it finished up with that exhaust stuff tomorrow.